Hey everybody, this is Keepster with the updated deck profile on my Ancient Gear deck. Last time I showed this, I had a little bit. I cut down some cards, I added some cards. The deck is, I think, around the 50 card range. Haven't really counted, but it's a pretty good ratio despite the fact I could probably bog down to 40 ideally if I want to go competitive. But honestly, this is more like fun, casual competitive. Plan to take it to locals one day and just see what it is. This is just my portfolio of the deck profile. Anyways, starting off with my boss monster, main like starter and all that. More than likely, 3 copies of Ancient Gear Dark Golem. So basically, when he's out, I get to search up 2, pitch 1, and basically go from there. This time through my build, I run only 2 of the OG. I may even consider running just 1, because quite frankly, with the 3 Ancient Gear Dark Golems plus those 2+1, you're essentially running it's like 5 or 6 Ancient Gear Golems on the field, which can all just go into like my fusion plays. So, quite frankly, I just have this for insurance. They can be bricks in the hand, but like with the way the deck I have the deck, you can literally like play around the bricks. So this next one I may cut down to 2, but for now I have 3 Ancient Gear Tankers. This is like my starter, more likely one of my starters or extenders, depending. I could summon and then special summon any Ancient Gear card, assuming my opponent does not like imperm or hand trap me before then. But I have something like Fortress. I can usually just get into what I need to right away without interruptions. But like the other like neat thing about this is more or less I can pop cards. Every Ancient Gear card gains like 600 for each increase. So quite frankly, it is a good extension, basically. So next we have 3 Ancient Gear Advance. This is like one of the typical starters. Search for any Ancient Gear cards. I usually just grab it depending on the situation. I typically like to go second with this deck. So let's say my opponent has an investment first. I have Fortress out, have that, start grab that, get into my cycles of like Ancient Gears, and then it just you go into this loop. More than likely, unless you have something to stop it, you can't. Which also in line gets into my 3 blinged out Ancient Gear Fortress. Which this is the solid like protection when you start off. More than likely when you have this active, your opponent can't really do anything about. So I have 3 Ancient Gear Wyverns. May just cut down to 2. But this is essentially the Strauss of the deck. Helps. It's just another searcher. I have 3 Ancient Gear Catapult. So basically I can target a field spell or like continuous card as long as I don't have anything else on the field monster wise. Pop Gear Town to go into my line. It helps a lot. Also in the graveyard I can banish it, pop any face-up card I have on the field, ideally Gear Town, get into my line that way, go into Ballista. There's so much you can do with just this card alone. It's insane. So this is the new edition of card. You can have 2 or 3 depending on like what you. For right now, I have 2 Ancient Gear statues that I said in my last video that I was going to get because it was OCG as well. With the new Maze of Masters pack, you get the Ancient Gear statues that are now in the TCG. So this is like the new edition. So what this does is on summon, Well, first, when an opponent has more monsters than I do, ideally, special summon it. It's like a Cyber Dragon effect, and then as long as I don't get any interruptions, I can sacrifice it to bring out Chaos Ancient Gear or like Ancient Gear going straight off, ignoring the summoning conditions, and you can just go into your combos that way. So now we have 3 Ancient Gear fusions. This is like the main way I get my boss monsters mostly. There's not much to be said. I can fuse a deck. I have Ancient Gear Golem on the field. Fuse from my hand. It is susceptible for like Ash Blossoms because you can't fuse from the deck. But other than that, honestly, more times than not, if you have Fortress out of the field, you're going in. And Urgent Schedule. So if my opponent has more monsters than I do, I could basically, I'm getting into my 2-up by the way, I could basically summon 2, like a level 4 Earth Machine and a level 8 or higher Earth Machine. Both of those are Ancient Gears, the Earth Machines, whoopie-doo. You go into Ballista, you go off that way, and it is such a good card, provided you don't get Ash or interrupted. Then I get Gear Towns. So you go into your sequence, Catapult, Gear Town, Fortress, Advance, Catapult, Gear Town, Dark Golem, get 2 cards, pitch 2, fusion, boom, 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 boom. And this goes into my Overload Fusion. This is just extra, like this is what I like. So I have enough like machine monsters in my grave. I can go into Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, and it's insane. So we're going into most of my hand traps now. So we got Call by the Grave, or 1-ups, Call by the Grave, Terraforming, get to search for Gear Town, Raigeki. And this is like my new like tech card, Triple Tactics Talent. So let's say I have some cards to start off with. My opponent Ash Blossom me, they play any hand trap during my turn. So where this comes in, I can take a look at their hand dependent situation, take control of their monster dependent situation, or it's a Pot of Greed, I draw 2. So we get into my 1-ups, Ancient Gear Frame. I get to ditch a card, search for fusion, search for anything, really. Commander. I was running 2, but honestly, I'll be running 1 duel, so I'm not really using it as much, but it is a good extender, and it is good at getting my stuff out. Here's another one of my board wipers, Harpy Spider Esther, the 1 duel. Good for protection. Potentially I can fuse into Ultimate Ancient Gear, attack up to 3 times, and depending on the situation, can go up to 5k damage that way, or 10k damage, depending on the situation. Ancient Gear Box, I get to add. It's another extender to add more Ancient Gear cards with attack or defense load of 500. Potentially get to fuse your boss monster that way, and there's so much application. Okay, I kind of lied. I had 2 commanders. I thought I had 1. I might bog it down to 2, but oversight there on my part. Hunting Hound. Now we get into the hand traps. 3 Ash Blossom. This is my latest one, Magical Hound. So if my opponent has a continuous spell trap, let's say something with Snake Eyes, or any other card like that that's known for having an oppressive something that a Floodgate, this kind of bounces it back, especially if it's a trap card or whatever. Then you can go into your Ballista or whatever, and it is a very good extension. This is the latest of my hand traps. Mulch Army full waffles. So this is basically the Max C of the modern Yu-Gi-Oh era, because Max C and TCG is banned. On only have one of these, unfortunately. But so it's like maxi in a sense that I can discard each time my opponent special summons from a deck or extra deck. I could draw a card, and there's like a drawback. If the number of cards, there's more cards plus 6. I have to randomly shuffle like the cards I got back. So it's like it's a maxi with some drawbacks basically. Draw Unlock Bird. So my opponent's gonna search a lot of cards. This is a good like interruption, so they don't get to do that for the rest of the turn. Nibiru for board wipes. Imperm. Dark Brewer no more. I will definitely probably replace that with what was the card? Give me a moment. Sorry, I have a bit of a brain fart. Kind of an autistic streak. I'm gonna check my Master Duel because I don't remember the card off the top of my head. I'm professional, I know. Like, oh yeah, Forbidden Droplet. I had a brain fart. So I'll replace that with Forbidden Droplet, then, you know, we're set. And they help negate stuff. But with Dark Row No More, it's like, I shot off my opponent's, like, front row. They just don't take damage for the whole turn, which is, like, until I get Forbidden Droplet, this is going to be the card that I'll do it. Effect Veiler, stopping my opponent's, like, card effects. And then Ghost Ogre. This doesn't necessarily negate, but I can, like, destroy stuff, interrupt, like, their flow of things. Now we get into the extra deck. So we have some new cards since the last profile. So we got Super Dragonaut, Railgun, Godvoss, Max. So it's like my main Ancient Gear boss monster is level 10. So it's like if I want to like deal most damage, they have like 2k or less. Burn them for that much. Baguska, basically my stall option. Ancient Gear, Megaton Golem, Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. So this is like my main boss monster. During the battle phase, my opponent can't really activate card effects. It is immune to spells and traps, including my own, and it has piercing damage, man. There's not much that can be said. And then Ultra Ancient Gear pairs very well with Duel, but by the time, you know, I get into like creative like OTKs, the standard is just I am pretty straightforward with that option. But there's other like tech you can probably do. This deck is a pure and, you know, bread and butter Ancient Gear Golem deck. Ancient Gear Hotweiser for more burning, immune to card effects, and it's a free way I can get like Ancient Gear Dark Golem and start my like loop. Ballista. So this is like the one link monster that I kind of surprise my opponent, reduces my opponent's, you know, attack and defense to 0. And I can like search for Gear Town, go into my line, and then potentially come back that way. And then finally, Nightmare Phoenix. So yeah, this is the updated deck profile of the Ancient Gear deck. Hope you guys enjoy. I look forward to one of these days probably competing with this deck. And until next one, see you guys later.